What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, and welcome to some live player ratings for the Fulham game yesterday. Obviously, another really disappointing result for Spurs. Another performance where we've let another lead slip, more ground lost on the teams at the top of the table. Here with John Cooper today. Thank you for joining us again. Yeah, all good, all good. Ready for some live player ratings,
definitely.
John?
Yeah, my first one, debut.
I don't know if we've ever done a live player ratings before. We might have done it at home on StreamYard, but I don't think we've ever done it like in the studio like this. So this is the first. Remember, if you're in the chat, make sure you put your rating on each player we're discussing, and we'll get a consensus of what we think a rating is. We've given our rating. John is going to have his rating, and obviously we will see all your ratings in the chat. So we'll have some sort of consensus of what we think we've given.
And we got the papers as well.
And we got the papers as well, so we'll see what bull crap they're talking about.
Yeah, we're prepared for you guys.
All right, so we'll start with Hugo Lloris. We gave him 6. I thought it was a quiet day for him. He made one save in the first half from Anguissa. He says he made a couple more saves, but I think they were more like pot shots, which rolled into his arms.
Straight down the throat.
Yeah, straight down the throat. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, he didn't actually have too much to do, which is another frustrating aspect. Make sure you post your ratings in the chat. What do you think, John?
I would give a 6. Yeah, I agree.
You give a 6? Yeah, it's not much to talk about though in terms of Hugo Lloris, is there?
I think like a real world-class goalie would have got that.
You think so?
Got fingertips
you think
to that.
I think he would. Goal?
Yeah, I think that's the difference between a Lloris and the absolute top echelon goalkeepers, unfortunately. But I still love Lloris. Don't get me wrong.
But when you say he has some of the best reactions in the league, usually.
He does,
Lloris.
He does have great reactions, yeah.
So, but it was a tough one. It was very close range. It was a good header. Maybe caught out by the fact that it got to him.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But he did get quite a big hand to it.
It's just disappointing, isn't it? Because you need those moments for him to really step up and save you. You know,
and usually he brings it. But yesterday was another case, wasn't it, of him not being tested, but we did end up conceding. I
mean, there's an argument for a 7. What does everyone think in the comments section?
The consensus seems to be a 6. To be a 6. We have a lot of 6s, few 7s, 1 8. But the consensus seems to be a 6.
I mean, in the papers, this one's 6.5 in the Daily Mail, 7 in the Daily Star, 7 in the Times, 7 in the Daily Express, and 6 in the Ice. Is what Ice Sport is that?
Yeah,
and that's the Telegraph. So, and then 7 in the Mirror. Okay, so there's actually more 7s. They've got him with more 7s.
Why? I don't know why though. What did he do to warrant 7?
I don't know.
He did deal with most things that were thrown at him, didn't he? But I guess
they're looking at it as like he couldn't do much about the goal. I'm guessing they're thinking is there.
All right. Well, we've given him a 6. Yeah. I think that's fair.
I think a 6 is fair.
We'll move on to Serge Aurier. Serge Aurier, we gave 7, I think. Yep, we gave him a 7. I thought another good display from him. I thought with the goal, I did think he probably could have got out to the fullback a bit quicker, who played the ball down the line to Lookman. But other than that, I thought he was a threat down the right-hand side. I thought if it wasn't for some poor finishing from Kane and Son, he would have probably had a couple of assists to his name. And I thought he was a constant threat. He was causing problems all day long for Fulham on the right-hand side. And I thought he was aggressive. And as you can see, 14 duels he competed for. I think it was a decent display from him.
I think it's a decent performance. 7 is like decent. Yeah. What do the papers say? The papers give him 6.5, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, it's like 7s all round here for Aurier.
What do we think in the chat, guys?
6,
what are we giving Aurier?
6 and a 7. So all 7s apart from one, which had him as a 6.
We have 6, 6.5, another 6, 5. People, 5, 6, 6, 5. Consensus seems to be a 6. So people are saying we're overrating him at the moment in the chat. I think his crossing was actually on point. a lot of the time. Son missed some gilt-edged chances set up by Aurier a couple of times. He really should have put those away.
I'd be happy with the 6.5 though, don't get me wrong. I think that would be, but we're not doing halves.
No, we don't do halves. We're here, we're on TV. No if, buts or maybes. It's a definitive. 6 seems to be the consensus here in the chat.
Okay.
But I think he had a good game. Pass completion rate 91%. Oh no, that's not from Aurier. That's the next player. The next player is Davinson Sanchez, who we gave 6 to. Again, he came in. He won. 10. He won 6 of his 10 duels, 91% pass completion rate, which is all right.
That means nothing to me.
Yeah, from a defender, doesn't mean much. 2 of his 4 aerial duels he won, and 2 of his 4 tackles. But the one tackle which really got away from him was for the goal, which was another really frustrating. Yeah, in the build up for the goal, where he really got sold by Lookman. I felt he had Lookman under control. He allowed him to take a touch around the outside, allowed Lookman to get the cross in, and then end up scoring. End up getting the header in. A lot of 5s coming in. The reason I only gave him a 6 is because I think throughout the game,
I thought he looked okay during the game because he wasn't under pressure that much, so he kind of looked like he was just coasting through the game. Okay.
Exactly. I thought it was a quiet game, but I thought he dealt with Cavallero and Reed pretty well. And I thought a lot of the times Fulham had counter-attacks and he was snuffing it out pretty well as well. So I didn't think he had too bad of a game, but then again, let down by a sloppy moment.
That's the thing. Those moments just like you can cost you.
But then again, if Dyer heads that away, we're not talking about him letting a cross in.
And then you give him a 7.
And then you probably give him a 7. But it's harsh on Davinson. I didn't think he was bad. People are going to give him pelters because he makes mistakes, and then obviously he had that. But I didn't actually think he had to put in a bad performance. But
also, it's like I was saying before. Like if we win that game, all the averages they average up to a 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we drew, it's like they all get averaged down to a 6.
Faisal says Davinson was actually good, so there see people giving praise. That kid says he does the same thing each match, pass it to the keeper or passes it to Dyer. He doesn't seem so comfortable on the ball, does he? But Awuli says this Sanchez agenda, Dyer is the problem. Well, you're saying it's an agenda. If we move on to Eric Dyer, we gave Eric Dyer a 5. We gave Eric Dyer a 5. You think that's harsh?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's harsh?
I actually think apart from the goal, he definitely had a very strong second half. Dyer.
I think so.
I would give him a 6 personally.
You'd give him a 6.
I mean, you know me. I'm his biggest critic. Don't get me wrong, but I also know when to give it up a little bit, and I think 5's a little bit harsh. I would personally give him a 6.
Well, the reason he went off. He was injured, wasn't he, in the first half? Then kind of got himself back on the pitch and got himself back.
He's not going to lose a point for that.
No, he's not losing a point for being injured. But I just felt like for the goal, it's becoming a common theme with Dyer. That's the problem.
Well, we talked about this before. It's like Dyer can look great for 90 minutes, then he's got a couple of clangers in him that will cost you points. Like cost points against Newcastle. Didn't track the flight of the ball, and also didn't track the flight of the ball here either. And it was a free header. Yeah. So these are the clumsy Dyer mistakes you're going to get. Unfortunately, it's going to cost points.
It happened against Wolves, where it didn't cost us. Luckily, it happened against Liverpool, where he got shoved in the back and went down and allowed a free header.
Even the first minute against Leicester, he nearly conceded a penalty. Do you remember? Yeah. And it was only we looked at that and we thought that's a pen.
Yeah, I thought that was. It was actually sloppy. I thought that. It was actually sloppy. It was clumsy. It was clumsy. So the thing is with Dyer is he seems to be one of Mourinho's untouchables. Mourinho really likes him. I think it's because in terms of the defenders we have, he probably balances ability on the ball and physicality maybe better.
He's that typical industrial style defender that I think Mourinho likes. Yeah, hard nosed, big.
But in terms of defender, he's better physically than Toby, and he's better on the ball than Sanchez. But Toby's better on the ball than Dyer, and Sanchez, you might argue, is more physical than Dyer. So it's a difficult one.
But one thing I'd say between Toby and Dyer is that Dyer will always power a header out as hard as he can. Mm-hmm. Toby will see the players around him and he'll cushion his headers out. Instead of like a 15-yard header from Dyer, Toby will cushion a header like 6 yards to the nearest player. That is the difference in IQ level, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
When Toby looks to clear the ball, he'll aim the clearance towards someone.
He'll like take a little bit off the header to make it reach the player, whereas Dyer's just like
bounce
as hard as he can.
I know what you mean.
That's the difference in intelligence levels between the two players.
Yeah, but people in the chat, someone said in the chat, Sanchez was dropped for less than what Dyer's done. Do you think that's accurate? Because Sanchez, after that game against West Ham, we drew 3-3.
Yeah.
He was dropped for a long time.
Yeah.
Didn't see him again. Dyer now has made a few mistakes. Do you think he should have a spell on the sidelines?
No.
You don't. You think we should persist with Dyer?
I think that we need to find a replacement for him at some point. But
you think the option's available?
But I think given our personnel, I think you still need to play him. Yeah. I still don't think he's done enough. That wasn't to me a total clanger. The letting in that goal, got to the byline, whipped the cross in. It all happened very, very fast, Yeah,
but he's only got one man in the box to mark.
I know, and that's why we're giving him a low score. But for the rest of the game, I thought he looked all right. He looked quite good, and especially second half, he looked very strong. That's
the thing with Dyer. You say what you said before,
and then it's the clangers.
You say he looks good for 80 minutes,
and then there's a brain.
You could even expand that to the whole season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause he's looked good for so much of the season.
I know, that's the thing.
Yeah,
with him.
Whenever he's made a mistake, it's cost us. That's the problem.
It's probably cost us 6 points.
Every time he makes a mistake, it costs us. But he's like, for other those mistakes, he's good.
He looks good, yeah.
But then those mistakes are starting to total up now.
Exactly,
They're starting to total up. That's the problem. All right, next one is Sergio. We gave him a 7. I actually thought we gave him an 8. It says 7 there.
I like 7.
But I thought, you think 7?
I like 7, yeah.
You like 7?
Yeah, I like
what
that.
What are we giving Reguilon in the chats, guys? Let me know. Are we getting a lot of 8 so far?
Do you know what? Most of the papers have got... they've got him as a 7.
Man of the match, someone said 8. Look, the consensus is 8. I said, I thought potentially 8. I think I might have changed it last minute to a 7. He did do one really good cross to Harry Kane.
7 in every single paper he's got.
It was a 7.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat is saying 8, apart from a couple of people. The big consensus is an 8. I thought his cross was absolutely phenomenal. Right on his head. The second time as well, like against Brentford. Yeah. Really good crossing.
Like we said before, it's really good to see him really, play with a bit more adventure on the ball. Because I haven't seen that for the last few games. And he's sort of returning back to the Reguilon that we first saw when he first came into the team.
Yeah.
Those old Ryan Giggs runs and stuff, taking on his man and doing a bit more, overlap on the fullback. I like that. So that's good.
And his assists are starting to rack up now. Now you've got one against Brighton, you got one against Chelsea in the League Cup, you got one against West Ham, you got one against Brentford, you got one yesterday. So he really is starting to contribute on that left-hand side and showing how good his delivery is. He's got a serious left foot on him when he gets the chance. And how pinpoint was that cross yesterday? Proper on his head. It was pretty much replica of the one against Brentford. Right on his head. Yeah. Right on his head. And it's very impressive. And he created another chance, I think, for Son, who ended up missing. But I think, and obviously he had that goal.
And the West Ham goal. Do you remember, I think it was West Ham?
Yeah, I said that West Ham.
That's
right on Kane's head.
That's what it reminded me of, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a delicate little chip on him on that left foot.
That's what happens when you give him license to go forward and attack the fullbacks. That's what can happen.
And also, he doesn't seem, despite him being good going forward, he doesn't seem to be get caught out a lot defensively. He at the beginning maybe he was, but recently I can't think of too many goals coming from his side.
No, that's what makes me think. Why did he drop him against Liverpool?
He played Davis, didn't he? That's I don't know. It's a difficult one to answer, but I think Reguilon with another good performance, and
I'm happy with 7.
If Madrid are watching, he's terrible, and he definitely shouldn't have him back. He's an awful player. But look, I'm happy with Reguilon at the moment, and hopefully continue his good form. He's really showing, and he also had that goal ruled out. Right at the end was offside, unfortunately, but it was good to see him getting in there.
I like the way he was going
no,
and everyone's going. Nah,
I assume I like that offside. Offside. But most people saying 8. But all right, we'll move on.
Nice.
We'll move on to Pierre. We gave him a 7, but I do actually think it wasn't his the best display he's had in the Spurs shirt. I felt like
6.5.
What are we saying for Højbjerg in the chat, guys? We're getting 6s. We've got an 8. I think. Look, he made a lot of tackles. He was winning the ball back. Look, 7 recoveries is a pretty good stat. But I felt like he was making a lot of fouls yesterday. Probably more fouls than he usually does. He was breaking up play, but I think he was actually quite lucky that he only got booked late on as opposed to getting booked early in the first half, which he could have done for persistent fouling. And although he was really well involved in the goal, good switch of play to Reguilon, who obviously could set up Harry Kane. It wasn't his best display, although I think he was good, but bit too many fouls for me.
You know what I like? His best displays are when he's actually really positive on the ball and his distribution and the way that he progresses the ball. That actually doesn't get enough credit.
I agree.
I think he actually pings a lot of balls through the lines.
He's actually got a good range of passing.
Yeah, he has, and I think when he does that, we look good. And we didn't really see much of that yesterday. So, but the second half, I thought he stepped it up a little bit. So it went from a 6 to a 7.
One thing I would that for me was a big criticism actually on Højbjerg was there was actually a really big chance when Kane played him through on goal. Yeah. And he had a really big chance, and he had a lot of space, and he could have taken a touch and had a shot. He could have actually played through Reguilon, who was running on his outside for on goal, and he took it first time, and it was such a weak effort right into the keeper, and that could have been another moment where we sealed the game. But
that would have made him an 8.
That would have made him an A, but unfortunately he kind of just screwed that up quite badly. And unfortunately...
He's got between a 6 and a 7 in all the papers.
I know it's not his forte, scoring, but he's got, I think, in those kind of positions, want a bit better from him. But end of the day, it was a decent display by Højbjerg, and so we gave him a 7. Next up is Harry...
Oh.
We gave him a 6. I actually thought in the first half... he was a big reason why we were controlling the play quite well. I thought he was keeping possession well. He was getting the ball to players in dangerous areas and making quite a few good interceptions, which I was quite happy with. I felt like he was a lot quieter in the second half, and obviously he did go off. We're getting a lot of 6s, 5s. We got 1, 3, 5, and 8 from Barry. 6.
He gave him an 8.
Someone gave him an 8. Another 6. We got another
drunk,
4.
go home.
I think most people say we got it right with a 6. I think most of the 6 seems to be the consensus.
I'll be positive, and I'll give him the benefit of doubt, and I'll give him a 6.
I think people's criticisms of Winks are fair, because I do think he can be. Sometimes they're fair, because I think he can be upgraded, and I can understand what they're saying. If he doesn't tackle and he doesn't attack, what actually does he do? But I just feel like in terms of his skill set, he does have a role to play, and he can play that role pretty well. And I think in a game like yesterday, when playing against Fulham, I think he can be effective in those games. And I think he was effective yesterday.
See, that's the thing. I watched that game and went, he's poor. But you went, he's having a good game. It's
weird,
weird, isn't it?
Game.
It's weird that you can see that and I see it totally different. Like one player, but like seen totally differently.
I thought he had a decent game
If
yesterday.
you want to see us talk about it, we actually talked about it in the morning after show. We talked about Winks quite a lot, so you can watch that video. But because I feel like when we have like Sissoko in that position, right, he just doesn't get the ball forward to players in attacking positions quick enough, and I feel Winks can do that. And I think Winks gives us more control. I do feel like we're better in possession when Winks is on the pitch. I feel like that, but I think we miss a trick when he's got on the ball, because I think there's options to go forward, but he'll always take the safe pass.
No, I don't agree with that. I
think he opts for caution more than anything else, and that's my gripe with him, and I think most people's gripe with him, you know. And I actually noticed when there was one point when Winks and Ndombele kind of went into the opposite positions. As soon as Ndombele got the ball in a Winks position, he immediately drove forward with the ball and like cut it through the lines, and we actually got into their area and something nearly happened. And if that was Winks on the ball, that would probably be going back to Lloris. And that's the difference between like a good player and a great player. I think a good player is cautious under pressure, and a great player is positive and still goes forward.
He's definitely not as press resistant.
Press resistant is the word.
He's definitely not like Ndombele
for that position. I don't
Ndombele is a different kettle of fish when it comes to that. I
would give him a 5 or a 6.
Winks,
so I'm okay with
Winks
a 6.
should learn from Ndombele how he likes to approach the ball under pressure and how he picks passes in between the lines.
Yeah.
I think Winks doesn't do that enough. But I just think when he's in the team, especially against teams like Fulham, I think we look better, and I think he's part of the reason why we created a lot of chances yesterday. I really do. I believe he's part of the team dynamic, which helps us get us into positions where we're creating chances. I do feel like in the second half he didn't help himself, but I felt like it was a decent display by Winks.
He had a shot on target at least.
Yeah, that was a decent effort.
Yeah, I think that was hitting the post, so it was like good effort.
Might have been curling in.
Yeah,
might
have been. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to Musa.
Another interesting one.
He started right wing. We gave him a 6. What do you guys give him in the chat? We gave him a 6. Actually, look, he plays this role for France sometimes, this defensive winger role. like a winger whose main role is to kind of help the fullback, help with the physicality in the centre, not necessarily to be getting to the byline and creating chances in that kind of role. I do feel like a lot of the time in the first half he looked a bit lost when he's in. I feel like when he gets into positions like when he has to like put in a cross or something, he does look a bit lost and he just seems to be lacking. His forte is when he's driving forward.
Yeah, he drives forward,
and that's when he's really positive. Like he had that run in the second half, past 2 or 3 players, probably could have done better when he got in the box.
Yeah.
But should we have started a winger like Lucas or Bale or Bergwijn? I think we should have. I know Sissoko didn't play badly, but I think we would have been better served with a bit more quality in the final third. And although I wouldn't say Mourinho got it wrong playing him there, I just think we would have been better.
He looked good when he came inside, didn't he?
Yeah,
and went played more centrally. Was those dribbles and those driving forward and ghosting past players. And
having said that, I think Mourinho made a mistake when he took Winks off. And instead of Sissoko, because he took Winks off at 1-1, and I think in that position he would have been better off taking Sissoko off, put Winks and Højbjerg, leave Winks and Højbjerg in the centre, and at least we have a player who's more likely to get the ball forward quicker than Sissoko. I felt like with Sissoko and Højbjerg in the centre, we just weren't getting the supply forward, nowhere near enough, and I think it would have been better with Winks there.
Okay.
But he moved Sissoko in the centre. That was his opinion.
Aren't you going to ask me what I think?
Yeah, go on.
All right. Don't ask.
No, moving on. Moving on.
No, I would say between a 6 and a 7. That's how I would see it. So,
why?
Yeah. Why near a 7 or why?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? He did well
because I think he played all right, Sissoko. He's one of those players where he does some things and you go, God, he's terrible. But then he's also some flashes of brilliance in there as well. Sometimes he looks like the only player to sort of penetrate through the lines, for us. So, and there was some moments where he got in some good positions and he was really driving us forward. So, but for the first 20 minutes, he looked a little bit anonymous. He looked a little bit isolated out on the wing, didn't he?
Yeah.
But then he grew into the game, and I actually thought he had a good game after that.
But did Mourinho get it wrong starting him on the right wing or not?
I think it's hindsight. We don't know, because we could have quite easily played a Moura there, and everyone would be going, "Oh, why is he playing Moura? Moura's had it." You know what I mean? I just think the whole team.
Do you
wasn't
like
right.
Sissoko in that role on the right hand side? Because he plays that role for France a lot, and he seems like he's like it's a team role kind of thing. It's like a role to help the team as opposed to actually him being in his best position.
I don't think it works for us, really.
You don't think it works?
No.
So okay, interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't want him on the right wing.
The thing about Sissoko, right, and this is a good and a bad thing, is that he drifts everywhere. He gets stretched everywhere on the pitch, right? So there's no disciplined area for him to sit in, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So because of that means that he leaves holes everywhere else on the pitch that other players have got to fill. There's a lot of innuendo. There's like subconscious innuendo coming, but you get my point, right? You get my drift.
Yeah.
So so that's the issue with Sissoko. He's always putting out fires all over the pitch, which means that he's never contained in one area. He's never disciplined in one area. So we can lose the balance of the team a little bit by having him there.
I know what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Tanguy Ndombele.
Oh right. Okay. This is interesting.
We gave him a 7, probably an 8 or a 9.
I would give him an 8 actually.
Based on his let me know in the chat, because based on his first half performance, he was on 8-9 territory.
Yeah.
He did kind of flutter out the game a bit in the second half, going off after 80 minutes. And I thought he actually probably could have gone off earlier. We see that 6 dribbles completed, which is the highest on the pitch. Yeah. Actually, one of the more impressive things was, first of all, he created 2 big chances, one for Son when he hit the post, and actually both of them for Son. One of them was a really actually great dinked ball into the box, where Son's header was a great one-handed save by Areola in the first half. And in the second half, he played Son through on goal, who hit the post. Yeah. He competed more duels than anyone else on the pitch, and he won more duels than anyone else on the pitch. He completed more dribbles than anyone else on the pitch, but he did tire quite badly.
That's Ndombele though. He's a 60-minute player, but the 60 minutes that he does play, he looks great. I think
8 seems to be the consensus in the
8,
chat.
For me, it's 8. Yeah, that's what I said. So I think it's an 8. Yeah, because even just the little touches, the little flashes of brilliance that he does when he's like loads of players surrounding him will just like get himself out of a cul-de-sac very, very easily. Like just a little drop of the shoulder, little cute little touch, little flick, and he got himself out of trouble. And then suddenly we were like setting off play.
Are there many players in the league who can do those kind of things that he does on the ball like that when he's got 2 or 3 players around him and he can just find a way out of it?
Yeah, not many. That's what I love. That's what we needed 3 or 4 years ago. You know, when we nearly had like the perfect team, what we were missing was a player like Ndombele.
They're saying the perfect 3 would be Højbjerg, Ndombele and Dembele.
Yeah. If you put Dembele and Ndombele together, that would be...
It wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. But let's not dream. Let's not fantasize.
Yeah, but Ndombele is... He's an interesting one because he's so effective in when he gets the ball in terms of beating people. He can get through balls, but then once he does start to tire a bit, he does start losing the ball quite easily, and then he becomes a bit of a liability.
Yeah. But he was putting in a big shift off the ball, which is our biggest gripe with him last year, wasn't it? Was that he wasn't putting enough work rate off the ball.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying.
He was still good off the ball. He was still good on the ball last year, but off the ball he was dreadful. But this year he's good. He's like making a real effort off the ball.
And that's what I'm saying. The duels he was competing with, highest on the pitch, winning the highest. That shows that he's really putting in the shift off the ball, doesn't it?
And it looks as though he's enjoying his football as well. I just sort of get the feel as though he's enjoying it. Do
you like him in this advanced? He plays this advanced role.
Yeah.
Do you think
we talked about that in the video?
Yeah, but do you think? We did talk about it. I just want to know: do you think that's where we should pursue him? Keep him there for now.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure because I can see the value in him dropping a little bit deeper as well. I can see the value in that. So, but he kind of goes where he wants, doesn't he, Ndombele? So
yeah, he does. But he's such a special talent.
I think you've almost got to build a team around him.
Do you see him ever getting to a stage where he's playing 90 minutes, or do you think this is just on Ndombele?
Again, we talked about that as well. I just don't. He just doesn't seem to have the body type for that. I know it sounds silly. Almost, he's like so big boned, isn't he? He almost like wide hips and always. Yeah. He's sort of a bit of a weeble. He wibble wobbles and he doesn't fall over. You know what I mean?
So
that's his physique. It's not like a Dembele physique who is like really lean and like, you know, sort of dynamic.
That's the difference between Ndombele
totally different physiques,
and Dembele. Yeah. I think the two differences is Ndombele has the end product, but Moussa Dembele had the strength. Those are the two differences.
Yeah.
I think that's where they differ, but they're fairly similar. All right. Next player is Son. We gave Son a 6. Missed a lot of chances yesterday. Unlike Son, Son, who's been so clinical this season. He actually missed 4 big chances yesterday. 3 in the first half, 1 in the second half.
What, the header? Are you including the header?
Which header?
The header that got tipped.
Yeah, why not?
Well, he still hit the target though, didn't he?
Yeah, we still missed it.
Yeah, I know, but you can't.
It was a great save, but but it includes a chance missed.
Technically it's chalked up as a chance missed, but in that position, all you got to do is you got to hit the target. You know, from that cross.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying
he powered his header. It was going top corner. You know, so
it was a great save. It was a world-class save by Areola.
Yeah. But I don't think you can rate him down on that.
Well, he missed 4 chances. That was one paper, of the 4.
But I still think, he scuffed his shot, didn't he?
He scuffed the one.
He scuffed that one that hit the post, which was disappointing.
He also headed it. I remember it was a header just outside the 6-yard box, and he headed it over the bar. Really good opportunity. And he had another one as well, which he put wide. I can't remember which one it was, but Son, I don't want to criticise him too much
because he works hard for the team as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's obviously been so good this season that obviously he's allowed a half day. All I would say is, if it was Steven Bergwijn missing those chances, you would hear a different story, wouldn't you? People would be on the criticising him a lot. Yeah. Whereas Son would obviously get a pass, but Son deserves a pass. Probably.
Yeah, because we've seen how many he tucks away. That's the difference.
It was just one of those days. It's not like on another day Son scores a hat trick. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But it's not just his chances. I think he does so much for the team in terms of defensively, and I don't think he gets the credit for that. Like he is the release valve for when we've defended the first ball. He's the second ball, and he's the one that creates that little release valve, the outlet for us to take the pressure out of the team.
Do you feel like on counter-attacks, if it's not Son on the end of it, we just don't have a chance of scoring?
Well, Kane, if Kane's on the end of it.
Yeah, but Kane's usually the one setting him up.
Yeah, but if he is.
Yeah, but I'm saying...
Are you saying that there's no one else in that gets in that position?
Yeah, because Son is the only real one with that pace,
who gets in behind.
Yeah, who gets in behind and when he's beyond you, you're not catching.
Well, we've only seen
not catching.
We've only actually seen Bergwijn get into that position against Liverpool.
That's the thing, and he obviously didn't score. But I feel like when we're we can be quite good on counters, but we rely on Son so much on the counter.
Yeah.
And we need another threat there, and we need someone to. We know everyone knows this. We need someone else to be stepping up.
What does everyone else think for Son? What do you rate him for? Yesterday?
Yeah, the ratings a lot of sixes.
I'd say sixes or 7.
6, 4,
I would
5.
even say 6 or 6 between 6 and 7.
5. Actually, consensus seemed to be about 5.
Oh, really?
They about a 5.
See, that's the thing, right? So let's say a lesser player doesn't get into those positions that where Son misses, right? You'd say, yeah, he's having a good game. But because he gets into that position and then misses, you go, he's having a terrible game. Give him a 5. That, to me, doesn't make sense, you know. I think a good player gets into those positions where a lesser player wouldn't even get there, if you know what I mean.
That's what I was saying about Bergwijn when people were criticising him because he's missing chances.
Yeah, he got into those positions.
I was saying, actually, it's an improvement because before he wasn't even getting the positions. Now he's getting in the positions.
You want to see him get into those positions. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So people criticising him for missing, but I was like, actually, this is an improvement on before.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that.
So, I think, obviously Son's going to keep getting those positions. More often than not, he's going to score. But I think yesterday was just one of those days for him, unfortunately.
I'm okay with a 6 on that one. Yeah.
And last but not least, Harry Kane. We gave him a 6 as well. Obviously, he scored that amazing diving header. Did really, really well. He missed a really good chance when he headed it over the bar. Probably could have done better with that one. Other than
I agree with that. I agree.
It wasn't the best game from him.
It was another one of his sort of quiet, sort of leggy performances.
Still got on the score sheet.
There was times when he dropped back into that, in that quarterback role, and then suddenly we looked like we did against Man City, where he was in that pivotal role where he could set off play, and then he'd get into the then join the attack. But when he's sort of like drifting forward and we've got nothing stringing through the midfield, he just cuts like quite a lonely, anonymous figure, doesn't he, at times?
Yeah, Kane. I know what you mean.
And then he sort of gets a bit like frustrated, and then he starts to come back and defend and then go out wide, and then the whole team loses its shape a little bit. It's just one of those games for Kane. It's funny because a lot of the papers gave him an 8.
An 8.
But I think a lot of that is down to the fact that they just automatically give a player like man of the match if they score, So
but I'm trying to find whether it was this chance. It was Aurier crossed the ball in, and Harry Kane had a really good chance with a header, and he headed it over the bar, and he really should have scored that one. And that was really disappointing. And I think he set up. Who did he set up? He was the one who set up Højbjerg for that chance. He played Højbjerg through on goal, which Højbjerg screwed up. So he could have ended up with the goal and assist in this game.
Another assist, and then we'd be talking about.
I know it's just frustrating.
It's just one of those.
But do you think Harry Kane right now? Yeah. He's got, I believe, 11 goals in 17 games. He's got 11 goals and 11 assists. Right now, do you think he's on track to be Player of the Year in the
for the club or the Premier League?
Premier League.
It's one of those years where there's not that many standout players.
Yeah, but he's a standout player.
No, from the rest of the league, I'm saying.
But he is.
There's not that many others to choose from.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So from that angle, yes. But I'd say that it'd be, it'd
Do you not think he's in this is one of the best performances of a forward, like in Premier League, down the, like in the recent history?
For Spurs or?
No, just like
it's a great for Harry Kane. This is a brilliant. He's been a brilliant team player this year.
But
but there were times where he was the most creative player in the league, I think, this season.
You say he's been a brilliant team player, but he's also got 11 goals, so he's also up there in top goal scorer list as well.
He's up there. Son's got 12, isn't he?
Son is on 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're very close to each other.
I think he's going to win Player of the Season for us, for Spurs.
Do you not think he's in?
But I don't know who else is in like the top 3 of players in the Premier League. Do you think?
Who's in contention for Player of the Year? But maybe you could say Bruno Fernandes for Man United.
Yeah.
You could
Grealish,
say
maybe?
Grealish, for Aston Villa. You could say.
What do you reckon in the chat, by the way, guys? Who
am I missing? Who's in contention for Player of the Year?
Who's in contention?
I think right now, Kane's front runner. I really do. No one's playing better than him.
Because I can't think of anyone else that's actually playing well.
But no one's playing better than him.
Yeah.
Who's playing better than Kane right now?
I need to go through the teams and have a think.
You may no one. Salah, no.
Grealish, maybe.
Yeah, but he's not. Kane is putting ridiculous numbers on the board. Ridiculous numbers. 11 goals and 11 assists. That's ridiculous in 17 games. That's the best in Europe. No one's got more goals.
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to Son's incredible finishing as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Kane has to set him up.
And if Son scores from the halfway line, a dribble, you know what I mean? that's another thing, is that because they're both so good individually, they make each other one's stats look amazing. You know, like against Arsenal, you know, Kane passed from his own half. He got the assist.
Yeah, but look at the look at the four goals Son scored against Southampton, all set up by Kane, all unbelievable through balls.
But you know the goal Bale scores against West Ham. Do you remember that last minute?
Yeah.
I mean, how much credit do you give Tom Carroll for the assist?
But those aren't the assists Kane's doing.
But it's still an assist, isn't it?
Yeah, but those aren't the assists Kane's
the individual
doing.
brilliance can sort of like give your partner the assist.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
Come on. Those aren't the assists Kane is doing.
Look, Kane's great. We love Kane.
But you're not admitting that point.
He probably is. I agree. He probably is front.
I'm saying
he probably is front run in the league, because I can't think of anyone else.
You know, for example, the one against Leeds puts it on a plate for Son. That's what he's been doing.
There's plenty of on the plate assists.
He hasn't just been laying it on for Son.
Right. But there's also plenty where Son has just done a bit of individual brilliance as well. Yeah, I don't know. Tell us in the comments how many.
One or two. Kane has been putting it on a plate. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, Man United on a plate for Son. You know, and even though Son got 4, you could give the man of the match to Kane.
I'm telling you right now, De Bruyne would be proud of a lot of the assists Kane's been doing.
There was De Bruyne-like assists in there, definitely.
All right. Obviously, the substitutes.
Lamella
came on. Vinicius came on. Vinicius
didn't do much.
Vinicius didn't really have much of an impact. Lamella nearly got that. Obviously, for the goal that was offside, he played Son for on goal, and obviously that didn't come to fruition. Now the big one, obviously. So look, they only had 15 minutes. They both didn't do much. I'm not gonna give him a rating, but the rating. I want to ask your rating on Mourinho. What do you rate him yesterday? And also in the chat, what do you rate Mourinho yesterday?
5.
You giving a 5?
Yeah.
5 out of 10. Why is that? Do you think he got the selection wrong, tactics wrong? What did he get? What was his biggest failure?
The failure is not learning from all our mistakes, from giving up goal leads and then conceding in towards the end of matches. That has to come down to the manager, right? But that's just a general thing about that's a kind of an ongoing issue that I have with Mourinho. If you're just looking at that game in isolation, yeah, maybe you could say a 6, 5, 6, but I mean, maybe playing Sissoko out wide wasn't the best move, you know. Possibly could have brought Bale on instead of Vinicius or Lamella, potentially. I don't know, but again, a lot of that could be hindsight, because if we hold out for that win, I don't know, it's like then you might be saying it's a good display. I just think we were too negative, but then that's an ongoing issue that I have. Yeah. It's like too pedestrian. We're playing on the back foot. As soon as we get the goal, we're retreating and we're trying to play not to lose. And every time that I've watched Spurs play over the years, whenever we've tried to play not to lose, we lose, you know, because in order to win, you've got to be playing on the front foot. Even when you're defending, you've got to play on the front foot. You know, as Højbjerg actually came out in his post-match interview, he said, you know, defending isn't just about standing in your own box. It's about maintaining a shape, you know, being compact and still
you got to be brave sometimes.
Being brave, he said. And that's the difference. It's like defending isn't just about last ditch, you know, and being in your area hacking balls away. Defending is about defending as a team. So that can actually mean like the attackers are defending and the midfielders are defending and you're defending as a unit. I think that's what I'd like to see when it comes to shutting up shop. And I haven't seen that this year from Mourinho.
Yeah, I know. I can understand that frustration. I agree with you. I think what I would say is in isolation on this game, what would I give him out of 10? Probably a 6, because I think at the end of the day, we probably did deserve to win the game. We probably had enough chances to put this game to bed. We had enough real clear-cut chances, definitely, to put this game to bed. And in terms of chances we gave up to Fulham, I don't think we actually conceded enough chances where Fulham would say we were always going to score. I don't think that was the case. They did kind of score out of nothing, and Hugo had a quiet day. However, it is a common theme
that we're retreating
the whole season.
We do retreat, though, and I don't like that.
Against Newcastle, against Palace, against Wolves, against West Ham, and against yesterday against Fulham. Every single time, it's a theme that we're taking the lead. In the first half, created chances. We've rested on our laurels, become too complacent, too comfortable with the result, and ended up costing us. But if I was Mourinho, I'd point to the fact that yes, we're too comfortable 1-0, right? We're too comfortable 1-0 up, and we shouldn't be that comfortable. However, we have we have always pretty much in all those games we've created chances to extend that lead. So it's not Mourinho's fault that we've missed those chances. However, we are too comfortable when we're 1-0 up, and it breeds that air of not complacency, but the air of fear that there's always doubt.
Doubt.
And especially now, the worst. I tell you what, the worst thing about it now is because it's become a theme. Right, because it's always going to be in the players' heads now. Whenever we're 1-0 up now, 10 minutes to go, that is what's going to be on the players' mind, and that's the most worrying thing. Is because going into the future, the more it plays on their mind, the more the negative energy is going to seep into them whenever we're 1-0 down, and all of a sudden it's like a negative when we're 1-0 up.
It's almost as if we stop playing when we go a goal up and we've got 20 minutes to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we've stopped playing. There's no industry to our play. There's no urgency. There's no passage of play. It's just a case of just sort of like, let's just see this out. Let's see this out. But they're doing it way too early in the game. Like, in the last 5 minutes, you can kind of like go a little bit like look backs to the wall type thing. But, for the last 20 minutes, half an hour, you still got to be playing and still trying to sort of, even if you are defending in a low block, you've got to have your counter-attacking outlets there ready to take the pressure off. As soon as everything starts to retreat, and everyone starts to sort of go back into their shell, and go back into the box, then you're panicking,
But having said that, when you are 1-0 up, right, it is important, despite the fact that we do want to get more goals, it is important that we do make it difficult for the opposition to get back in the game and make it difficult for them.
Yeah, we need to be doing it, but we haven't been doing that.
But make it difficult for them to score, right? Make it difficult for them to create chances and score goals. And right now, opposition teams who like Wolves, like Fulham, they've been relying on one-off chances. They haven't been consistent. Like, we have been making it difficult for them to create chances.
I disagree. I think we look leaky.
But we don't concede chances.
But when you're watching it, you go, if that ball ricocheted in the air, if that ended up not going to a Spurs player's feet, then that's a goal. You know what I mean? It's like one of those. It's not just a case of like how many shots on target. That's like just looking at statistically. But when you're watching Spurs, you go, we're looking leaky here. There's no statistic for that. You can just tell. You can watch it. And I see us looking really open and exposed.
Open? You think we look open?
There's times where we look open, and you're thinking, I tell you what, that was a dodgy moment. That's another dodgy moment. You know what I mean? Even though they don't get the shot off on target, let's say, we don't look completely watertight. I'll tell you when I noticed it. End of last season, last 6 games or so, around the time of the North London derby, we actually were seeing games out quite comfortably. But I haven't really seen that this year so much.
Oh, come on, when we played Arsenal and played City, we didn't give up anything.
There was still moments, even against Arsenal, where the ball was ricocheting around in the area.
In every game,
but I'm just saying, I don't think we're looking. The bottom line is, I'm trying to say is, I don't think that we've been looking completely watertight. Even though, despite the fact that they might not have had that many chances, I still think we've lost control of the game, and I think we need to get off.
That's the difference.
And I want to see more of that.
Have we?
Do you agree with that?
I agree in terms of control, because in the first half, right, we had a lot more possession. We made more passes than Fulham. We were definitely a lot more in control of the ball. And that's why we were able to create a lot more chances, and we ceded that control. I'm not going to deny that. We did cede that control, and that's the most frustrating thing. However, I think it's important. I do think it's important that even though when we're 1-0 up, we do want to get that second goal to kill off the game, you don't want to give up chances easily, and it's important to be solid defensively and not be able to give opposition encouragement in terms of them creating a lot of chances. The problem is for us is, although we're not conceding chances, we are conceding control, and the opposition just need one moment.
Yeah, that's
and they're
the thing.
finding
They
that
need
moment.
one moment.
That's the thing. They're finding their moment. They're finding that moment, which is really frustrating at the moment. And Jose has to sort that out. But what I would say is, even in the second half, right, we still had the best chance of the second half before they scored. So it wasn't exactly like they were more likely to score than us.
Even when we went 1-1, they could have quite easily got the winner.
Yes,
there was a chance where it could have been squared.
Yes, when he could have been through,
didn't
and
even pick out his man, And so because he didn't put that pass in, you'll go, oh, it wasn't a shot on target, so it wasn't a big chance. That was a huge chance.
That was a massive chance, and he had blinkers.
That's what I'm saying about things looking dangerous.
Yeah. But that's my point, because This is my point, because look how that is how we looked like when we were going for a goal, when we're looking to score, because you have to take risk. You have to put players forward. You have to take an element of risk, right? When you're desperate for a goal and looking a lot to score that second goal and get the winner, you have to take a big element of risk and leave a lot of space in behind, and that's the risk you're taking, right? When you need to get a goal. So why take that risk when you're 1-0 up, when things that can happen? You know what I mean? Imagine that moment when
we were 1-1 at that point.
One point is, imagine that moment, right? What you just talked about, well, we're 1-0 up, right? And he plays that ball through, and all of a sudden they're 1-on-1. You don't think people be fuming at that? Why we're so open?
Yeah,
when
no
we're
one
1-0
talks
up?
about that, and that was like a massive chance.
I know, but I can understand that when we're 1-0, right? But when you're 1-0, you can't afford to have moments like that, which is why I think we sit deep. And why we invite pressure on ourselves. At the moment, the problem we have at the moment is we're not getting the balance right. We're inviting too much pressure. But we can't just be going like when we're 1-0 up, right? We're in a position where we're in the lead. It's on the opposition to get the equaliser, and it's up to them to leave space in behind, and we should be exploiting that space that they leave in behind, and we should be getting that second goal. At the moment, we haven't got the balance right, because we're able to create chances for some reason when we're on the counter attack in the second half. We're really struggling, but I can understand that when we have a lead, that we don't want to give that lead up easily. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even though we want to. Obviously, everyone wants to kill off a game, and when there's only one goal in, the game's still open. But you still need to appreciate that you are 1-0 up, and you don't want to give away chances
agree
easily.
With that, yeah, my only point was that we weren't totally watertight. We were giving chances away from open play. That was the only point I was trying to make there.
Very few though. Nothing clear cut. Nothing like you're saying like Fulham should have scored there. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think in terms of how Mourinho's managing the team and the tactics and everything, I think he's got work to do. Yeah. No doubt about it. He's got work to do.
Yeah. What do you think needs to change then, Sim?
What do I think needs to change? I think we need to start taking our chances. We need to start scoring the second goal, because that's what's missing. That's bloody second goal.
And I think that's it. Just a case of like getting this second goal all the time. Like when we're a goal up. Like, we should still be winning these games from 1-0, from a position of 1-0, especially at home.
But you look at the Leeds game, right? As soon as we got the second goal, we're comfortable because we know we're very watertight. We're not very watertight. We don't concede many chances. Yeah. And we know that if a team comes onto us at 2-0, it's like, even if they get a goal, it's very unlikely they're going to get two. Like we saw against, that's why we look so comfortable for me against City and against Arsenal, because we had that 2-goal cushion. As when we only have that 1-goal cushion, we know in the back of our minds, one mistake, one slip up, and we're costing the points. We need to work on having more control of the game in the second half. We're ceding too much control, but I still feel like this team is going in the right direction. I do believe that. I believe we're going in the right direction. I believe Jose has got us playing in a way where we are creating chances and we are looking tight defensively. And that's, you can't ask for too much more than that. He's just got to get the balance right. But I do believe the results will start to come again. I do believe that.
I'm interested to know what everyone else thinks in the comments section, like what you think needs to happen with Jose, what kind of changes he needs to make. Are we close to looking like a top team, or is there like a big overhaul that needs to be done? It'll be interesting to know what you guys think in the comments section. I kind of agree with Sim. I don't think we're far away. I think it's just a little bit of a tweaking. I also do think we've got, we spoke about this before, didn't we? There's quite a lot of clumsy players we've got. That's the problem. And that's costing us. That's what's costing us. That's the problem when you have
a 1-goal lead and you have clumsy players.
Yeah,
that's
a
big problem.
For disaster, isn't it?
Yeah. But if you let every time we have a 2-goal lead, barring
West Ham,
we look comfortable. We look really comfortable, and that's what we have to aim at. Because I feel like in football, right? People always see football as like, if we're sitting back, it's because it's our choice to sit back, and we're not reacting to what the opposition are doing. You know what I mean? Always in games, oppositions are going to have spells where they're dominating possession, they're dominating the ball, and you need to take your chances when you get them. You can't keep missing chances, miss, and just hope it'll be all right, and we'll keep creating them. You know what I mean? Because defenses adapt, defenses learn how you're attacking during the game, and sometimes they're going to shut you out. And sometimes when you keep missing chances, that's going to cost you. And I think that's what's been costing us.
Okay. Yeah, that's what Jose said anyway. It was just he just put it all down on missed chances. I see it slightly differently. That I still see it as though there's a little bit of a lack of freedom of the passing through the midfield isn't confident enough. It's not adventurous enough.
But you're not saying that when we're creating chances. You're not saying that. No,
for the build-up play, let's say from when the ball's picked up off the central defenders, it looks a little bit too pedestrian at the moment. I don't know was it Henry Winter from I can't remember which paper it was. Playing with the handbrake up. I still see us playing a little bit like that. I still think with the amount of creativity that we've got in our team, we're not really seeing that so much.
But we are in the first half. That's the thing. But we are, because we are creating so many chances.
The first 15 minutes, Fulham looked the better team, I think.
Yeah, they look the better team.
And then we did create some chances, but I still when I'm watching Spurs, I'm still seeing a lot of negativity in the way that we're moving the ball around. A little bit, not
when
much.
We're 1-0
up. Just generally all the time, I see a little bit of negativity on the ball. Not with every player, but I do see that a lot. A little bit too sideways passing, cautious passing. Even Jose mentioned that a week ago. He said one of the things we can change is we can stop trying to play it safe, I think he said, and play it into the pockets. So he sort of identified that as well. And I think when we're lacking in a little bit of confidence, there is a bit of a reluctance to take risks. And I think if we just be a little bit more to dare is to do, I think this team can really unleash, can really
all right,
come into its strength.
Well, those are your player ratings. Thank you for joining us live for the very first time for the player ratings. Really enjoyed that. Thank you, John.
Thanks. It went on for
we went on for a while, but obviously this is going out on the channel later. But cheers, everyone, again.
Thanks
for contributing, and thank you for all your comments and giving us a consensus of the ratings in the comments. Let us know like, subscribe, make sure that you help us with the YouTube algorithms. It really does help us. Thank you all for joining us. And as always, come on, you Spurs.